Welcome to Top of the Line. This is the podcast version of our YouTube show. New episodes every Monday and Friday where we talk about audio and hi-fi related themes.
If you have any requests for a future episode, send us an email, totl@abyssheadphones.com. So we have another viewer question. Da, 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 da. And it looks like he ordered a AB1266. Thank you very much. He says it's coming soon. And he's having a hard time figuring out what to combo to electronics to pair with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which we get that question a lot, which is why we do these videos.
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, one of the videos we did was on amp. The amp tier list was pretty cool. I don't know if we covered portables. I think we
tier list one?
We don't start that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. People have been asking us about the DAC tier list, and honestly, I don't think we just don't feel like we have enough of a subset of knowledge on the DACs available.
There's a lot of DACs.
Yeah, to really do proper justice to that kind of thing. Although we have our favorites, which we obviously we have our
what seems like 100
favorites.
plus DACs that people commonly use in the high end, and we don't have hours or days of experience with each of them, so it's very hard to say.
And really, for the most part, a lot of them in the sub $2,000 category kind of go the wrong way anyway, and they're leaner sounding, and it's like it's not really our cup of tea. So where are we going to put them all in D? So, but yeah, we do have our favorites, and by all means, you can email us, and we'd be happy to give you the short list. That's assuming you're looking in the multi-$1,000 plus range. Anyway, the question goes on to say that the customer loves DAPs and convenience they offer, and is wondering if he could hook up the 1266 to his Sony Walkman, which we happen to have here, and the gold jobby, and gold-plated. You gotta love that.
Gold-plated copper.
Gold-plated copper, yeah.
Fancy.
Yeah, the best sound you can get there. And so he's wondering if something like that would provide enough power for the 1266, which I could already tell you that's not going to work out. So anyway, if it's not that, he's basically asking if there's any other DAPs or something that he could use that would do it.
Yeah.
Well, on the first thing, now in Europe, if you have one, I don't know if he's in Europe or not, they're even quieter.
Yeah, there's some sort of volume limitation or something.
It's even more limited
for the
on
EU version of this.
Yeah, we didn't confirm this, but allegedly there's an EU volume limiter on those products, and they have significantly less power. That's not the case with ours. I guess we got the North American version, and it's not what you would call powerful by desktop standards, but it's like a moderately powerful for portable use.
Yeah, it sounds like a few hundred milliwatts or something like that. It's not.
It has that kind of sound. Yeah. It has a really good sound to it at moderate levels.
It does sound very good.
But if you're in a loud environment, or you like to listen loud, you like a lot of bass and impact, that's absolutely not the option.
It's really not made
close.
for 1266. It's made for more efficient, which is just about everything else. It's made for much more efficient headphones.
Yes.
And it's a wonderful player. But on that note, DAPs and 1266s, digital audio players and 1266s don't
pretty much anything portable
go together.
It's not stellar with a 1266. It's a very demanding headphone, and it's not so much that it needs power. So that's a popular point people confuse. You could drive it with things that are rated at fairly low power, and it'll sound phenomenal, and it'll even play loud in some cases. But it's much more complicated than that. Most portable devices don't have sufficient drive to never clip and sound kind of portably. They have an anemic type of sound to them. It doesn't
They're running
have
off a battery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
they don't have enough voltage.
They have voltage limitations. Yeah,
they definitely sound strained.
It might be I don't even know what the volts are of these batteries. It's not a lot. It's 3.6, 4.8. Maybe they run dual batteries, so they get plus or minus 4 or 5 volts, but there's not a lot of volts.
The most the portables go up to is typically in the 10 to 15 volt range. Some go higher than that, but for the most part, you don't get anywhere near the peak voltage that you get on desktop amps. And so occasionally with more demanding moderate impedance headphones, in comparison, desktop amplifiers could go above 100 volts peak.
Well, that's a beefy amp.
Yeah, right. The very high end, it goes crazy. So the difference is in a desktop amp, if you get a high power one, it's not even a question. You won't run out of power. You never will clip or distort the amp. And with portables, the reality is at moderate to high volumes, that's usually where you are. You're riding the edge of clipping on the thing. And it has that portable sound as a result.
Yeah, even with this on Diana, it sounds wonderful, but you're almost at full volume all the time.
It's cranked and it sounds good, but it's not loud.
I mean, if you're a quiet environment, it's beautiful.
Well, that's the nice thing. At least you can play the Sony at full volume, and it doesn't clip.
Right.
So that's nice, because some of them do start clipping, and then you're like, ugh.
Yeah, most do, really.
Yeah.
Most just hint at clipping when you crank the volume, and that, for me, that really makes it sound portable. It gives you that limited type of experience you're not quite looking for at that price range. If you want world-class performance, unfortunately, there's very, very few options in portable. And
the latest one is the IFI, the Diablo.
Yeah, the IFI Diablo seems to be a pretty compelling option.
Although we haven't heard it. We've reached out to IFI to get us one to play with so we can talk intelligently to people about it. But so far, all we know is that it has a power rating that would certainly rival a lot of desktops.
Yeah.
And we've heard from a few people that have tried it with Diana and stuff and said it's pretty potent and it sounds pretty good. So it's a $900 portable amp DAC, and so far it's the only thing running that I'm aware of that'll do that kind of power in a portable device. That would be something to try. That's about all we got right now in the whole market.
It kind of depends on your definition of portable, though.
Yeah.
Because there are a few options that kind of are portable by some, but they get sizable. And then you even have something like the Broadway by 11 Audio that's battery powered. You could technically use it a few hours.
Yeah,
but it's a pretty large form factor.
Well, I think the biggest problem
is
is
transportable.
Being balanced only. You need a DAC that has XLRs.
Right.
So that's really where the problem comes in with something like that. I mean, you could do it.
You need an adapter cable to come out of this.
You could do that.
4.4 millimeter out of this.
4.4 to 2
dual
XLRs.
Dual 3-pin
But
XLRs.
that is phenomenal. We did drive the Broadway with the Sony amp, with a Sony DAP.
Right.
And
it's great.
It sounds great. It's really good. It's obviously very large. You're not putting it in your pocket.
Right.
But it's not as large as a lot
Like
of
a
desktop
hotel.
solutions. So for something like that, it's not a bad use case.
Even traveling home, like we usually recommend with people with Dianas and stuff, where you can get pretty good sound out of a portable when you're going portable.
Yeah.
You come home, you use your portable as a source, you plug in to a desktop.
Yeah.
Now you've got phenomenal sound for home use. So
because that has a good DAC in it. It sounds quite good for the price point, the
as do a lot
size,
of
the performance.
current portables are actually really getting
most
pretty
of the
good.
high-end ones are pretty good.
The FIO makes some nice products now. In fact, they got a portable player that's, I think, $1,200-1,300. That's new, which is $1,200 is like, for them, is expensive.
That's their high end.
Yeah, and it's supposedly pretty potent, though. I haven't heard any of our customers use it yet, so I don't know what the deal is with that. But yeah, so you always got to keep an eye out on the market, because there's always new toys coming out
all the time
to play with.
Yeah.
That may suit your.
Yeah, the market has been moving to higher power in portables, but unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, the problem is when you're comparing it to desktop has continued to improve as well, right? It's not standing still. So if you're comparing portable to desktop is pretty much always going to win. And so if you want the best experience you could get, you're not going to get it in portable. But you could get a very good experience. You just need to understand the limitations. You can't be expecting to play at very loud volumes with very significant bass energy in loud environments with something like a 1266, because you need a ton of power for that.
Yeah.
Currently not a lot does that.
I think the way to understand, we've talked about this in the past with the way the 1266 works, but you're converting electrical energy to acoustic energy. It's a fairly large driver. It's loosely fitted to your head, therefore it needs more power because you're not creating a seal. It needs the electrical power energy to convert to acoustic energy to overcome that lack of seal. And it'll do it in spades, no problem. There's no problem with no seal. That's what it was designed to do. But you need electrical power in order to create that acoustic energy.
Yeah.
And when you're running it with a couple hundred milliwatts, you can't. There's physically no way to get that much acoustic power with a few hundred milliwatts, in an open space like that, in a big headphone. So that's the reason why you need more of a desktop class amp in order to really flush out what these headphones are capable of.
Well, I guess an analogy would be it's kind of like a sporty street car. Would be your portable.
Yeah.
But they keep getting better and better, but they're never like an actual dedicated race car like your desktop can be.
Right.
They're very good and you can enjoy them and they're great, but compared to an actual race car that's made specifically for just performance.
Yeah.
That's the real
they
trouble.
don't really
it's,
compare.
It's two different levels,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, and with our headphones, we found that people in general are very acceptable at both levels. They understand the limitations, and they understand that when you're out and about, you're not going to get desktop quality. You know, you don't have your $15,000 DAC with you. You don't have your $10,000 amplifier with you. You don't have thousands of dollars of cables connecting all this stuff. You know, it's a compromise when you go portable at this level. So and it is what it is. That's the way it is. You know, it's always going to be a bit of a compromise, but it's still great sound. It's not like you're
You could get really wonderful sound
for the sound quality. You're really not. You know, you're just more or less spoiled being home with it. That's all there is to it.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, as we all are with these.
At
things.
home, you're pretty much eliminating the power and the drive voltage as a source of issues.
Yeah,
right?
the wall's pretty unlimited when it comes to headphone power.
Yeah, for a headphone, you got plenty there. Yeah.
So on that note, that's that. Thank you everyone for watching us, and remember, please send your questions to totl@abyssheadphones.com. Take care of yourselves.